Hey everyone, this is a video on how we attempt to travel cheaper. It doesn't work all the time, but I wanted to talk about the way we book things and how we research them to try to get to cons for a little bit less than what we would if we just willy-nilly purchased stuff. The first thing we book is the hotel room, typically because the hotel blocks for cons go up like months in advance, and we don't want like hotels to run out of space. So we're usually booking those from like 6 months out plus sometimes. One of the best ways to get a cheap hotel room is to just do it through the con. When I first started going to conventions, I didn't do it like that because I didn't think that the con was really getting you that great of a rate. But obviously after going for cons for like 5 years now, I have noticed that yes, they are getting you a really good deal, and you should definitely attempt to book through the con if they haven't sold out yet. The way we get notified so we can get on that hotel con train really fast is I either follow them on some sort of social media, typically Facebook, or I sign up for their email list. That way I'm notified or like warned when they're about to release their hotel block, because certain cons you go to just sell out immediately. I'm looking at you, fan of me. And some it doesn't really matter, but I like to know so we can kind of plan it out financially and stuff. Priceline and Hotwire also offer you discounted hotel rates if you can't book through the con or don't want to. They do that thing, obviously, Priceline Negotiator and Hotwire. I don't know, theirs is just called like Cheap Butt or something. But we have done Hotwire before. Basically, it's like name your own price situation where you select the neighborhood you want to stay in. So like if it's LA, you say downtown LA. And then you say, I want to pay this much. And then it'll like kind of like calculate for a long time. It'll be like, you got this hotel for this much. So you don't get to choose like exactly what area you're gonna be in, which can be kind of crappy because sometimes you're really far away from the con. In the case of Katsucon, it's in this really tiny town and there's like 5 hotels there or something. So you know when you're booking for Katsucon, if you didn't get the con rate, you're gonna be in next to the convention center because there's nowhere else to go pretty much there. So for cons like that, it's good. We used it a couple years ago for Fanime, and it put us out by the airport, which if you know the area of San Jose, that's not really that close to the con. It's not like ridiculously far away, like we just took the light rail, so it wasn't a big deal, but it was kind of a bummer because we selected the area, but the area reaches like all of San Jose, so you don't really get to choose exactly where you're going. So that's kind of a con, but when we did do it, we got them for really good prices. So it's good to try if you think it's worth it. Airbnb is another thing that we have used that we have gotten places for cheaper than hotels if we couldn't get the con rate. For those of you who don't know what Airbnb is, it's basically people rent out like their apartments, condos, houses, sometimes like guest houses to you, and you stay there basically like a hotel. The one time we've done it, we stayed in someone's guest house, which was really cool because it wasn't like attached to their house and it was like in their backyard, and it was really sizable. It was like 800 square feet or something. So we had actually a really good time with that, and the guy who owned it was really nice. Some places are just like, oh, you're staying in my second bedroom in my apartment or my house. Sometimes it's like you're staying in my living room. But there's areas you can select if you say, I want the whole house to myself or a whole area to myself. I don't want to be sharing it with the person that lives there. There's those options too. Obviously, if you're going to be sleeping in someone's living room, it's going to be super cheap. It's going to be like $35 a night, which is like crazy. So that's just up to how comfortable you feel. But we would highly suggest it. We've had a good time with it, and it was a lot cheaper than any of the hotels in the area at the time. Airplane tickets can be like really sensitive on like what time of day you're buying, what day of the week you're buying, how far away from the fly date you're buying. It's pretty annoying. I like booking hotels way better because their prices like change really slowly. Airplane tickets change like every freaking day, sometimes multiple times a day. So you can get like a general idea when you're browsing, but it can get pretty annoying when you're trying to figure stuff out. According to the interwebs, the best time to purchase your airplane ticket is about 45 days before the day you want to fly, which is actually about when Kevin and I do it. We book them about 60 to 45 days before the event, and we've had really good results with that. When I'm getting close to purchasing, like a couple days before I purchase, I'll go on to websites like Hipmunk, Kayak, and just kind of see what's going on. Like, okay, how much is it for us to go from like Seattle to Chicago? You know, like what's the general price that I'm gonna be getting here, and kind of just researching it. I actually found a couple years ago when booking tickets, I used to go through like Priceline or Orbitz or whatever because they're like, oh, we're cheaper. They're really not. I found that you actually get like the best deals just going directly to the source, like Delta.com, AlaskaAirlines.com, and they will typically run deals on their site, and you can get it cheaper there than I could through like a third-party site, which was kind of weird. So just going for your favorite carrier is also a good idea, just to kind of get like a general idea. I sign up for airfarewatchdog.com. Basically, you say, here's my email address, here's all the places I want, here's my where I'm starting from, so Seattle, here's all the cities I'm thinking about traveling to, and it'll email you like a couple times a week, typically on Tuesday. Tuesday's like the cheap airfare day, and it'll tell you like, hey, these are all the deals going on, and it doesn't discriminate against certain airlines. It's like all the airlines. It'll be like, I'll get an email, the subject will be like Seattle to Dallas 248 round trip, which is crazy. And you'll be like, oh shit. Typically the prices have like restrictions on them, like, oh, you need to fly out on a Wednesday or a certain day, or you need to fly out between like these 2 months. But a lot of times they end up working for us. So Airfare Watchdog has helped me save stuff. It's not really a site to go onto and like browse around. It's really better if you just sign up for their list all the places you want to go. And I do it like a year in advance. I'm like, eventually maybe I want to go to Atlanta this year for a con. So like, let me know, and then I'll watch it throughout the year or however long I sign up and kind of see what's going on. Kayak has this cool feature up in the upper left corner, I think it is. After you have done your search, so let's just say Seattle to Chicago, it'll have this little graph, and it'll tell you if it's a good time to buy or if you should wait. A lot of times, by the time I'm searching, it's getting close to buying time anyways, and a lot of times it's like, you should buy now because it's gonna go up in price soon. So that's kind of a good thing. It doesn't tell you like exactly what's going on, but it's like super likely to rise in 7 days or something. So you're like, oh God, I better buy this. And I've come across some that very few times where it's like, just wait a minute, So I really like Kayak just for that reason, to kind of scope what's going on. Bing used to do it, but I know that Microsoft bought Kayak, so I think they kind of integrated it into that. But it's a really nice feature. Another thing to do is don't be afraid to like do one way there with Delta and like one way back with like Southwest or something. Sometimes like the return trip will be like way different in price than like your trip on the way there. So I'll like be like, okay, Delta is really good. I can go to LA for like $90 on the way there, but they're trying to charge me $200 on the way back. Let's see what's going on with Alaska and United or American, whoever, and see if they have something better than Delta does coming back. And we've done that a couple times. We've done like Delta and Virgin, Delta Alaska, and it's just another option to do because sometimes they will have like $20 cheaper, which, hey, is $20. If you are 18 plus and you are thinking about getting a credit card, definitely get a credit card that's associated with an airline, so one that you probably fly the most, because you do get miles with that, with like your purchases and stuff like that, and it is something that is kind of cool because you kind of don't think about it. You're like, oh, I have to make these purchases, and then you're getting miles back on those. I have one with Delta and I really like it, and it's something that if you think you can handle, is another option. Also, no matter what airline you're flying, even if you don't think you're gonna fly that often, just sign up for freaking the airline mileage plan or whatever that they have that's free with just your email address, because then you can rack up miles slowly over time. And the same thing with hotels. Sign up for their like rewards programs. So I know like Starwood Hotels has one, Hilton has one, Marriott has one, and Kevin and I have all of those. So it can get you things sometimes, like we've gotten free Wi-Fi because of it, free like water bottles, which sounds really stupid, but we're always thirsty at cons. So there are small perks, and if you end up traveling a lot with that same company, staying at the same hotels, you can get boosted into higher levels and get a lot more perks. So always sign up for any of the reward programs, mileage programs that they have going on, because they can benefit you in the end sometimes. But yeah, just to kind of recap over airline tickets, because there's a lot going on with them. Tuesday is the best day to check out and buy. I don't know why, but that's kind of like an airline fact. Sign up for Airfare Watchdog so you can get crazy deals sometimes. Go directly to the source, such as delta.com. And those are the ways that Kevin and I have been able to get the best deals through flying. I hope this helped some of you be able to travel a little bit cheaper to cons. If you have any questions, ask us below, and we'll see you guys next time.